Had to come back and check on my feeder. The bucket's empty. I make everybody happy. I got 5 gallons mixed up and ready to go. This is actually about 4 gallons after what I put in yesterday. And this is real thick, thicker than I would feed in the summer. But it's winter time, so I don't put near as much water in it. Put a couple of scoops in there, and it's about 3:30 in the afternoon. It's kind of cool out here, so they're not flying a whole heck of a lot. But they emptied that bucket since yesterday, and you saw how much of that was left in there. That was from yesterday. So from a little before noon yesterday to 3:30 or so today, and they've taken down that bucket and this, and they would have taken down both of them all the way if this one didn't drain so slow. If you want to stick around to the end of the video, I'll talk about beetle traps a little bit. It's a little bit cool this afternoon to be fooling with these, but I want to crack the lids on them and see what kind of shape they're in. We're only about halfway through winter, and I want to see if I need to reduce down to 1 box on both of them. This is my aggressive ones, so I've got the smoke going. I don't hear a whole lot of ruckus as I'm smoking them, so that gives me cause for concern a little bit. Yeah, they're not looking so good. I see a body part here and not much activity in its upper box, so I am definitely taking the upper box off. Hopefully I don't have a hive that's real far gone when you got stuff like this. Spider living in here and he's webbed up and the bees haven't cleaned it. I may have left it stacked too long. Yeah, I should have reduced them down a month ago, at least. Thankfully, there's not a beetle problem in here. I see 1 beetle. Okay, I got stung once separating them, so what I did was turn the top box over, dump the frames out. There's a little bit of a colony living in the top box. The majority of it living in the bottom box. So I am just going to eliminate the top box, shake these off in the bottom box, and put the lid back on it. And hopefully that's not wax moths. It's not, it's a big old spider. Now I'm getting down to the bees. I'll move a little slower. I've already been stung once. There's some honey in here. Okay. I'll put this honey in this box. The few beetles they did have were corralled in these couple of frames here, so that looks all right. There's the beetles. I probably shook off that many, so there's, whoo, they eat me up. Trying to anyway. I'll walk away. So when they do that, you just walk away, come back. Sometimes they won't let you come back for a while, but usually if you just walk off and give them a chance to calm down for a second, they'll let you come back to them pretty quick. I'll set this down here on the side for a second until I decide where I want to put it. It's all propylized pretty good. That propolis really doesn't like to move on cold days. I'm gonna take some more of these empty frames out too. I don't want to take them all out. It's serving as some insulation for them. I had a question about whether or not I use Beetle Traps, and I don't use these anymore, but here's an old, well shoot, there's a good example. I'll show it when I'm done with this. There's some uncapped honey on that one. These things are really pissy. If it was any warmer and they were flying much, I'd have to suit up to handle them. As cold as it is, they're flying reluctantly, only when they're forced to. Alright, now that honey in there gives them a little more insulation, and then I'll put this on the back side of it. That'll give them that much more insulation they can use to keep themselves at a good temperature. I think I'll actually move the whole thing over from the wall. Just no, I won't. They're happy there. That's where they built. I'll leave them right there. There's some burr comb they built on the wall. I'll go ahead and remove that so I don't have to worry about it in springtime. One of those hives that has survived years despite me, because I guess because they're a more aggressive hive, I don't fool with them as much as I do some of the others. Dadgummit, there's a sting in the face, and so I usually come into them later on when they're having problems, and I don't fool with them in between. If they look healthy from the outside, I usually don't fool with them, and it's not a good way to beekeep, because the outward appearance doesn't always mean anything. That's as far as I'm going to break them down right now, just because of the temperature out here. I don't know what I'm assuming it's about 60, I'm guessing. I'd say 65 at the most. So I don't want to distress them any more than I have already. But that will help them maintain the temperature in the hive here, since I've taken out all that volume where the heat has to rise to the lid. Now I'm going to put the lid directly on top of them, and they can much more easily maintain their temperature. Now I'll take that and put it with my meltdown stuff, and I'll take that and put it back on my supply stack. You always want to keep that drone comb, that way in springtime it's less work for them to do. They'll build faster if you have some drone comb already. Now on to Beetle Traps. One of my subscribers asked me whether or not I use Beetle Traps, and for the most part I do not, but here's an old trap. As a matter of fact, I haven't been into the bottom of this box since last winter, so it's been in there for a year, And I haven't used these in a while, I guess a year now. But I'm going to show you how well this one worked. It's just one of those jewel CD cases. Popped an opening here. Popped an opening here and popped an opening here. So the bees can't get in there, but the beetles, if you can see them all in there, can. And you'll apply a poison to the inside of the trap. The beetles get in there and eat it and die, and no harm comes to the bees. The beetles do not re-enter and scatter track poison through the hive, and the bees keep them in there. Once they go in there, the bees are standing here guarding the entrance and keep them in there, so they'll either starve out in there or they'll eat the poison and die. So I know your next question is going to be, what poison did you use in your trap? And I want to preface that by saying, be extremely careful what you put in your hive. Here in Mississippi, we're kind of self-policing. If you're on a hobbyist level, even the commercial beekeepers around here, I'm not sure that anybody inspects them. I think it's, if you have more than 50 hives on a yard, it's turns into a tax issue maybe, but even then I don't think anybody comes out and inspects. If they do, I'm not aware of it. But in some states, they do have inspectors who come out and inspect, and if they find something in your hive that they deem to be dangerous and it shouldn't be there, you're probably going to get fined at the very least. So just be careful what you put. But in this one, I used a gel type ant and roach poison, and I can't remember the name of it, but it came in a little black syringe, I guess similar to a JB Weld type syringe, and that's what I used. And I just ran 4, 5, 6 little beads around the inside, or little dots maybe, and it worked pretty well. You can see the results there. And so whatever you want to try, just make sure it's okay with the powers that be in your area. And the other thing with that is, you don't want anything that you put in there, you don't want it to be dangerous to you or to your consumers. If you're selling your products, if you're selling your propolis or your honey or your pollen or your bees, you don't want it to be cross-contaminating with other hives or with your products and getting somebody sick or whatever. Never heard of anybody getting sick from any of this, but I guess it's possible, or the Democrats wouldn't be protecting us from it. So there it is. There's a little jewel trap, and I think the results speak for themselves. Okay, regarding protection, if you've seen many of my videos, you'll know that I don't wear anything more than sunglasses or safety glasses most of the time when I'm tending bees. I do have a bee jacket with a veil, but I'm a fat guy and I get hot easy, so I don't like to wear it. And it's just cumbersome, and you can't see through the veil very well. And it's not the quality of the veil; it's just the way it is with veils. If you're looking for small objects like what bees lay, eggs and larvae, if you're looking for that stuff through a veil, it's kind of hard to see sometimes, especially if you're working in the afternoon, the light's low, and you're looking through a black screen veil. It just darkens everything up a little bit. So I'll have generally a pair of clear safety glasses on, or these, or some other sunglasses, because I don't like getting stung around the eyes. And bees are not dumb. They know where your eyeballs are. Somehow they like to go for your face and your this area here. So they, it's not so much over here, but I don't know, they're drawn to that. And so I did get stung once right here today, and I got stung twice in this hand, I think. But no swelling in the hand, no swelling in the face, just a little tiny little bump there. Once you've kept bees long enough and you've been stung enough, you develop an immunity to it. But I'll show you a picture of my dad. He's gonna kill me for posting this, but he's asleep in his recliner. He's on blood thinners, and when he gets stung around the eyes or around his mouth, he just turns black and blue and looks like somebody punched him in the face. So if you're on blood thinners and you're considering beekeeping, wear a veil. He kind of goes in gung-ho and doesn't always wear protection, and this is what happens.